Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate the audience and the fact that the channel continues to grow. We're over 6,200 subscribers, and maybe one day we'll actually, hit 10,000 or so. And I said when we hit 10,000, um, I don't want to have like issues with lotteries and that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to simply gift random people in the top participants because YouTube in the creators page, they tell you how many people participate and watch and contribute and comment. And so I'm going to pick out of the group of people who actually participate when we hit 10,000. Hopefully, if we hit 10,000. And I'm going to do something nice for them. Several people just to be, extra nice. Maybe everybody will get a scuba dude or something. Hey, Smack Daddy, how's it going, my friend? And Nanad, how's it going? Greetings and long life. The funny thing about being an old Trekkie is, you do the Vulcan thing and people get it. Sometimes they don't get it right away. But then when you throw in the tagline, live long and prosper or whatever, you'd be surprised how many people internationally know that showing you how much Star Trek has impacted our society, when you think about it. Um, and even Star Trek dealt with time travel. Uh, you know, they missed an opportunity to do like a Star Trek watch back in the day because they did the communicator and they did the badges and they did a lot of very interesting designs. I think Feinberg was the name of the property master. Um, they really actually did some very interesting things for design that still impact our society today. In fact, America had flip phones as a larger share of the market than other markets, primarily because flip phones reminded people of Star Trek. Funny stuff like that. Hey, Tap 1999. Hey, Elusive Man. I'm doing well, my friend. I must admit, I was very intimidated by the new job when I started last month, but I'm getting to the point where I just feel mildly inadequate to the task as opposed to being completely useless in the role. Because for those of you who may not know, because anyone who's been watching may have been following along, I've recently gotten the job as editor in chief of the IEEE's Power Electronics magazine. And I've been in publishing most of my life, but the IEEE Power Journal is an academic level publication. It's peer reviewed. Every piece of content, the columns don't because they're the opinion of the writers, but all of the articles that talk about engineering have to be read by at least two other engineers qualified in that specialty before it can get published. And as an editor and a writer and a journalist, I'm used to chasing deadlines and all, but the level of responsibility and making sure these people read the reviews and actually give me creative feedback, it's a high, hard hill to climb, but it's worth it. In the federation, you get paid in respect, um, and I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to even get the position because I am not an academic, nor am I an engineer. My background is electronic warfare. I was a soldier on the East-West German border. Uh, but the nice thing about electronic engineering is I kind of qualify to at least pretend that I understand what's going on there. And well, over the decades, I've developed a following as an electronic engineering journalist. But we are talking about watches here, and we're talking about, well, it's Christmas time, Kwanzaa, Festivus, Hanukkah, uh, you name the holiday, Saturnalia, a lot of feast days and holidays like Christmas, like, um, well, Hanukkah rose in prominence because they needed something to have at this time of year. But the bigger Jewish holidays are earlier or later in the year, depending on how you look at it. Um, but even Kwanzaa or so, even the smallest celebrations that circle around the solstice. And I talked about it last week. I was slightly inebriated, and someone made a very interesting comment how they laughed because I was saying the solstice celebrations were they were celebrating that the sun was coming back. The sun was disappearing all year, and then around the 20th, 21st, 21st, 23rd. I think it's 21st. I think I said 23rd last week, but I think it is the 21st. But whatever, the solstice, and then the days start getting longer, and everybody goes, "Hey!" They celebrate the fact that the sun is coming back. And horology is about the passage of time and measuring the passage of time and acknowledging the passage of time. That's why the moon phase is one of my favorite complications. Although, uh, oh, look at that! There we go. The light almost caught it. Just I don't want to overwhelm the face, but still try to get. You can see the moon phase at 6 o'clock. Moon phase is one of my favorite complications, even though it's in the modern world, it's just an interesting complication. But it points out the fact that horology is directly linked to the passage of time. I read something very interesting that stuck with me in that the sun measures the days, the moon measures the months, the stars. I need to look it up again, but basically pointing out how the universe is a clock. You know, we just mimic that humongous wheel of time that is constantly revolving around us. Hey, Elusive Man. Fun fact: creator of Star Trek was from El Paso, not a great place by any means, which probably means why Gene Roddenberry's mind was wandering to the stars. Have some family that have been living there for ages. Now, Gene Roddenberry was the creative inspiration, but interestingly enough, the I would say the second most important person in the whole Star Trek history and timeline. And I'm a hardcore Trek. I got a tattoo of the Enterprise chasing the Botany Bay, by the way, on my arm. I had the idea, and my daughter, the graphic artist, pathofpixels.com, uh, created it, and I did the tattoo because I'm a hardcore Trekkie. Um, but the second most important person was the producer, the head of production, the CEO of Desilu Studios before Desilu became Paramount, because Paramount bought Desilu. But Desilu Studios greenlit and made two um I'm blanking on the name. I'm getting old. Pilots. They made two pilots for Star Trek, which at the time was incredibly rare. And there are only a few shows that have made dual pilots in modern times. But Desilu Studios did it because their CEO really had an affinity for Roddenberry's vision, because she was a CEO in a man's world, in a man's environment, in a man's business. And Lucille Ball is as responsible for Star Trek as Gene Roddenberry is, because he had the idea. But if Desilu hadn't picked it up, and Lucille Ball, if you look her up, there are pictures on the internet of her wearing a female star uh, Federation, female Federation Starfleet uniform in red engineering, which is what Uhura wore. Which, if you didn't know, the colors in Star Trek are gold is command and flight crew, which is why uh, Kirk wore gold, and the helmsman and the navigator wore gold because they were part of the flight crew. Blue was science and medical. That's why McCoy and Spock wore blue, and red was engineering and support, which was why Scotty wore red and Uhura wore red, and all those poor red shirts wore red. Oh, but yeah, Lucille Ball. Look her up online with Star Trek, and you'll see a picture of her in a Starfleet uniform. Serious. Tap. What do I think about independent niche brand watch collection? Think Louis Monet, Armin Strom. I just interviewed one of the principals at Armin Strom at Geneva Watch Days. You should go to my Geneva Watch Days playlist or the archive. I'll double check to make sure that every single one of the videos that I shot at Geneva Watch Days are in the Geneva Watch Days playlist. But I love Armin Strom. There's also a short because they just came out with a new iteration of their GMT, which is two movements connected with their resonance uh, action. No. Armin Strom is the highest level of horology. I even got a cool little bracelet I gave to my cleaning lady because I always like to show, that she's part of my household. She's been doing my apartment for almost 8 years, over three different apartments. No, she has been. And so I gave her the Armin Strom bracelet they gave me, which was a string bracelet, but it had a buckle that you regulated the string was a metal Armin Strom. It looked like a piece of one of their movements. Um, but no, I have a comical amount of respect for Armin Strom. And when I think of Louis Monet or Monet, I don't know enough about that brand, but I do know that they are not a lightweight brand. Let's put it that way. Gian, hey. Apologies for being absent for a bit of time. I had some night shifts at work recently. Well, I'm happy you show up. Come on. I love all of you. And I'm so happy, Gian, to see you again. I really am. And we have a rotating group of maybe 50 to 60 people that show up. We get 15 to 20 at a time. And as I've pointed out before, if I grew up in New York City, and if I had like a pitch to make or a speech or whatever, and I put placards up and I rented a hallway, if I got 20, 30 people, I would be rocking it. You know, we have to compare things to real world examples. Now, if this video were about cats, we would have a completely different level of viewership. But this is a show from a guy who's not even a real watchmaker. I'm just a collector and a hobbyist. And as a journalist in my day job, I journalize my hobby, and I love this hobby so much. And so I figured I would share it with you all. And a lot of you have resonated, and we have a very healthy, happy community. And I'm very, very honored, proud, and pleased that you have allowed me to become part of your day. And I don't consider any of the other watch people to be competitors because we're not on the same time slot. You could watch any of us whenever you want. So watch any of them that you like and watch me too, please. So, elusive man, autocorrect is a bitch. What watch is the armor wearing? Well, it's not so much I add stuff to it every week. I've finally settled in now. And so I've been unpacking and moving stuff around. And that beanie is actually a very sophisticated propeller beanie. Um, you might be able to tell if you zoom in, it's got an electronic package underneath the beanie. And the companies, Atmel and the like, were all involved in it. It was a project, and it was a beanie. Well, it's not a beanie, a propeller beanie, well, propeller with a baseball cap bill. But it was actually a very cute way was one of the very first demonstrations of mesh computing in a wireless environment. And so they were giving out these beanies. And if you got close to someone else who had a beanie, the both propellers would start to spin. And it was just a simple demonstration of mesh networking, mesh wireless networking. And they used a very elegant way to do it. And I'm very pleased and proud I managed to get my hands on one of these because they didn't have that many and they were so popular. They disappeared in moments. And if anyone asks, well, how can it work without the second beanie? It came with a little chip you could put, a USB chip you could put into your computer. So if you really wanted to have it spin, you could wear it and put the chip in your computer. When you got close to your computer, then it would spin. But again, I am remiss. We have not even addressed the topic yet. Well, we're only 15 minutes in, so I don't feel too terrible. Let's look at the stuff. Oh, all right. I had to answer Elusive Man's question about the watch the armor is wearing. The watch the armor is wearing, and I'm not a big yellow gold fan, and I do like my two-tone oyster quartz, though. I do love my two-tone oyster quartz. Beautiful watch. But that's a well gold plated, but still gold. I'm not a big, like I said, a big fan of gold, and it's also non-functional. But it's not. It's depends on how you look at it. It's worth or not worth having repaired because it's a first generation Junghans radio controlled watch. Um, but I don't need it, so I just put it on the armor. It's part of the collection, but I don't use it because it's non-functional. I'm also very upset because I dropped one of my pocket watches, my Hebedos. I forget the name of the company directly. The It's got a Breguet 8-day movement. It's a pocket watch that came out in the 1890s, and it's made quite a few. So you could pick one up for like $500 or so. It's not a expensive. It's not an expensive pocket watch. So, for example, that's a good Christmas gift, but it's not a good last minute Christmas gift. And to the point of the topic, uh, the nice thing about watch gifts, we're 10 days out. None of it's going to be out of stock. Nobody's clamoring to buy a brand new time grapher, which is, I just realized this got fingerprints out the hoo ha on the front, but now I wiped it a little bit. But a time grapher, this is a great gift to give to this is the kind of gift you could give to the person who literally has almost everything. Like let's say you have some watch cool guy and they got a gadillion watches, right? Most of them don't have one of these. It's not that they wouldn't appreciate it, or if they, most people don't know that these exist. The average watch person doesn't know that these exist. Every time I talk about a time grapher, uh, most of the people I talk about it are like, really? You can get something that does that? And so a time grapher, it'll run you about $200 online. We're 10 days out. You can get one delivered from Amazon within a few days. And if they own any watches, got fingerprints on it again. If you own any watches, if you own one good watch, you should have a time grapher, because what a time grapher does is it tells you how much the watch is deviating from accuracy, plus minus seconds a day. It tells you the amplitude of the movement, which is how far back and forth the balance wheel is going, like how much energy is in the tick, as it were. And it also tells you things like the lift angle, which you can't deal with, but a watchmaker can. The lift angle is how long of the arc, what percentage of the circle is the actual pallet fork engaging the balance wheel. It tells you that much information. It tells you information you don't even need. But for the average person, you look at how accurate it is. You look at the amplitude, because as the watch maybe gets dirty inside or something, it may not be anything wrong with it, but the amplitude will decrease. And if it drops below, say, 270 degrees, you might think about, if it drops below 250, definitely take it in and have it at least cleaned and serviced. Um, just because the car needs an oil change doesn't mean it needs an engine rebuild. But you can, well, in the case of a watch, you're probably better off having it taken apart, cleaned, and reassembled, and that's going to run you with a good watch between 500 and $1,000. So you could actually go to a jeweler and buy a gift certificate for a watch cleaning if you know what brand watch your friend owns, and bada bing, that's another last minute gift because the jeweler's just got to give you a gift certificate, right? And free watch cleaning, they could, you just make sure the jeweler doesn't put a expiration date on it, and they could literally just keep it in the box uh, until they need the watch cleaned. But then that's one thing off their mind. So watch cleaning. Now another thing you could do is get them just a watch tool, right? This is a it has carbon fiber calipers because then it won't scratch the watch, right? Don't buy a watch collector a metal toothed or gripped or whatever you call this part of the caliper. Get them something like this. And this one, it does metric or inches. And that way you can do your lug widths, right? So zero, no, there we go. We're zero. And bada bing. This is a 24 millimeter lug width, right? So if you know someone who has watches, you probably been in there. If you haven't been in their home, that's a different thing. But you probably know if they own something like this. You probably see it lying around if they had it. So this is another good last minute. The reason I say last minute is because yeah, you're going to find these in stock everywhere, right? So another last minute is walk into a local antique shop and buy an interesting, quaint old clock. Don't, unless you know exactly what they're looking for, don't buy a personal watch. But even if they're not into, XYZ watch brand, they'll throw something like this on their mantle or their, bookshelf or whatever. This is a dashboard clock out of a MiG 21, you know. And I bought it from a watch guy who was retiring, and it says on the back "Unverkäufliche Dekor," non not for sale decoration piece. Because in Germany you actually have to declare stuff like that if you have all kinds of stuff in your shop. Not that you're trying to sell it; it's not part of your inventory. But I got it when he retired. And so you could just walk into an antique shop, last minute sale. They got a lot of old clocks. Buy your friend an old clock. Nobody ever complains about an old clock. Uh, I love it when we have so many comments. I got to scroll back up. Elusive Man, I'm more of a Star Wars guy, but appreciate Star Trek just as much. Well, in one sense, Star Trek opened up the minds of the people with the money behind creative, the studio executives and the like. It opened up their eyes to the potential. And frankly, without Star Trek's initial success, well, they would have eventually have been something else. I mean, I'm not going to say that nothing would have happened if Star Trek didn't happen. Societal pressures are societal pressures. Someone else with an idea and a dream would have made something similar, hopefully. But Gene Roddenberry did it, and Lucille Ball backed it, and we have Star Trek. And I was at the Star Trek convention at the Taft Hotel in 1975. I was 14 years old. No, I might have been 13 because my birthday's in October. And I was 13 years old, and I was at the Taft Hotel at the Star Trek convention in 1975, and they showed a bootleg 8 millimeter, could have been 16, but I think it was an 8 millimeter um, sneak peek of Star Wars in 1975. And I remember because the scene that struck me was when they were bringing C3PO out of the oil. That was in this leaked film from Star Wars production at the Star Trek convention because they knew we were like-minded people. And what struck me today in hindsight is when I saw it initially as a child, I thought Luke was R2D2 because the scene is C3PO's drawn out of the oil bath, and I'm C3PO, and this is my sidekick R2D2, and Luke is cleaning R2D2, but it looks like a toaster, or, garbage can. And he goes, "Hello." I didn't realize he was saying hello to the robot in front of him. I thought he was saying hello to someone off screen, and that he was his R2D2 apprentice, to show you how a scene out of context can be completely confusing. Oh, uh, everyone's saying hello to everybody. HRM, hey HRM, a gift card to a watch strap manufacturer. Boom, that's also good. Makes for a great gift. Well, watch straps were going to be my next suggestion. In fact, I got this watch strap case as a gift. So that's two sets of gifts. This is literally just a case for watch straps. It's not a watch case, it's a watch strap case, and then watch straps. So, gift certificate for watch straps, or buy one of those 8-pack uh, NATO strap collections online, because you give somebody a pack of 8 different brightly colored NATO straps, they might find a couple they like, they might wind up wearing several. But accessories and bags and packs, that was one of the other things I was going to talk about, like watch cases. I think these little watch cases are great because I've got the 8 watch case and I've got the 4 watch case, nice travel cases. But the single cases, um, I like about the single cases is, number one, the watch is well protected, and two, since they're individual pieces, they can go in like your backpack with your computer and your other junk and sort themselves out. They're not a big block like a case that gets in the way of other things. These, you put a watch in each of them, and you can pack them very, very well when you're traveling as light as I do. So I could put 3, 4 watches like this into a backpack, and they're not getting into everything's way because they're not a big block of backpack stuff. But a case, a nice watch case. I used to. I was going to also say a spinner case is another good Christmas gift. A case that can spin watches, but I don't spin them much anymore because my top 10, to qualify for my insurance. I even just renegotiated my insurance and upped the amount. I had to take a picture of the insurance because they're inside of my safe. It tells you what it's rated. My safe's rated for half an hour, and I got a camera in the foyer, and I'm now in the basement of a villa, so I'm benefiting from the security measures of the owner of the building, which include a humongous wrought iron gate around the whole property. So I actually was able to up my insurance and stay at the same cost because this is a lower risk area. I'm not going to tell you where because you might come and try to take my preciouses. Don't take my preciouses. But a good watch case, because like I said, I keep my top 10 in this case, so that way every time I leave my place for more than 10 minutes to go water the plants or feed the bird feeder, I stick this box in my safe. And so I only keep what I call the B team, although there's some really nice pieces in there, and they're on display. But I do keep my watches in a safe, and a safe is one of the things I was going to also say is a great gift to a watch collector. Get them a good safe, because you can get just an iron lock box that they can bolt to a shelf, which would significantly increase the security of their collection. You could pick up something like that for $50. So a safe is another good Christmas gift. Gian, awesome. Night shifts at Sunday are just too tempting to resist. Oh yeah, well, and I've been jumping through hoops. Like I said, I'm getting on top of the new position. It's just was just a little intimidating at first, um, and I'm looking forward to because I'm almost finished posting all of the videos I shot at the Dusseldorf Watch Time, the Watch Time show at Dusseldorf. And once I do that, I'll start posting my other videos about the some of the newer pieces I've acquired and some that I've reacquired, like the Longines calendar, moon phase, and well, no, I was gonna because I was wearing the sub earlier today. I haven't done a real review of the sub, and I know a lot of people talk about the sub, but there are things about the sub that I'm not too thrilled about. Like it literally does have some of the best action, and it feels so great. One of the greatest, but it does turn a little too easy sometimes. Sometimes you put it on and it brushes against your sleeve and it moves. But what are you going to do? Um, Nothing's perfect. But I do intend to do a good review of that. I'm going to revisit this one. I made a video of this one a long time ago, but I'm going to revisit it and we're going to talk some more about this beautiful, beautiful launching calendar moon phase. The master collection is a column wheel. This is just the regular cam 7751, but it makes it a little bit more robust. And I'm not a big fan of how big the hands are, but I understand because the reason I didn't like the master collection is because you couldn't tell the time on it because all the hands looked the same and it has like a gagillion hands, central hands, not even subdial hands on. I'm not, okay, maybe not a gajillion, but it's got like three or four central hands. It's got the central second hand for the stopwatch because it's a chrono. It's got hours and minutes and seconds as in the subdial because it's a chrono. And it's got a pointer date. So there were four shiny, highly polished center hands on the master collection. So I can't complain that the Conquest Longines, they're both Longines. The Conquest version has these humongous, big, chunky hands because at least you can tell the time at a glance on them. So, you know, you, my biggest gripe of a daily wear is it should have lumen, so they gave it to me. Although I wish they had done something a little bit more elegant, like, speedy style, slim loomed hands, right? But you can't have everything. Can't have everything. Uh, Gian, collector, hobbyist, journalist with correct knowledge. That's what impressed. Oh, thank you. I'm touched. Well, but that's the thing is that since I'm, a journalist in, well, actually, this is journalism as well. But you know what I mean? Because the other watch pundits like TGV, who is someone who I'm looking forward to eventually doing an episode with together, and people like Peter Katza and all, they're journalists as well. But since my engineering journalism, you got to really slice the onion thin, and so I want to bring that same level of accuracy and technical depth to this for you so you can appreciate the reason I love some of this is the engineering precision in it. I mean, that's why I like the open heart version of the El Primero Chronomaster over the closed face because the closed face is a beautiful piece too. But I like seeing the movement. I really do enjoy that. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I really really like my Nicholas Rusek. You know, is I mean, look at that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Awesomely gorgeous. They went through a lot of trouble. This is their first in-house movement. They wanted people to respect them, so they really swung hard and they hit it out of the park. This is a column wheel mono pusher vertical clutch GMT chronograph. If it were made by one of the more established brands, it would be 25 to 30K, easy. But it was made by Mont Blanc, so it retails for 10, and sells gray market for five. At five, it is so worth it at five. Oh my God. This is the best 5,000 you'll ever spend. I mean, when you think about it, these are both worth about the same used, right? The Cartier Santos XL and the Nicholas Rousseck. And this is such a better. I mean, this is a Value 7753, nothing wrong with it. Good mainstream movement, great watch company. And the funny thing is, this could also be a last minute gift because there's nobody breaking down the doors to buy any of these. If you see one of these in a shop, they got it in stock. But yeah, straps, tools. I mean, even something that you can use for other things, like a set of, they call this like a set of third hands, because basically it's two little uh, alligator clips with a magnifier so you can hold something and look at it. And if it's something you don't want to scratch, you just pad what you're going to look at before you clamp it with the steel clamps. But not expensive, in stock. You can get it right away, and you can give this to a watch person, and they would be pleased because they probably don't have one, right? Or a set of really good screwdrivers, right? These are engineering level screwdrivers. You could change all kinds of watch straps and other things with these screwdrivers. And a pack of screwdrivers like this would run you $20 to $30. Um, and again, no one's breaking down the door at the hardware store to, we're sold out. There's no jingle all the way for these. But if you go to your local, and that's another thing, that's a nice thing you can give a watch person. You don't have to find a watch shop. You go to your local good hardware store, and somewhere behind the counter, they got a set of really nice engineering grade screwdrivers, and give that as a gift to your watch person friend, and they would be very happy. Um, gifted my little cousin my Hamilton khaki field automatic. Always. Oops. Went too far. Went too far. See, I have so many comments. I'm so happy. Okay, here we go. Gifted my little cousin my Hamilton khaki field automatic. Always ran well within COSC, which is +6 -4. Over the 2 years, I dailied it. Yeah. Oh, in fact, I just gifted my Universal Genève Senna. I gifted it to my brother-in-law. He just turned 75. And my sister from the States, they both live in New York. They were on a Rhine River cruise, and they're like, Alex, we're going to be in Rudesheim. And I saw them on Friday. Rudesheim is about a 15-minute train ride from here. So I was able to go see my sister from the States here in town. And it was his birthday. And so I grabbed the Universal Genève, the Senna, because it's one of those watches I liked, and it was available for sale. But, and I'm like, hey, I won't lose money on a gift. And so I gifted it because I would rather gift a watch than sell it for, under retail. I shouldn't say under retail, under market value. If I don't want to lose money on a watch. I'd rather give it to someone, and then they get the benefit. And a gift is worth everything you paid for it. You know. Uh, so I was able to, and he was very pleased. He's a watch person, so he got it. And the Universal Genève Senna was one of the last watches they made before they turned into a boutique watch company. And now that they're owned by Breitling, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to come out with. But yeah, I also recently gifted a nice vintage piece to my brother-in-law. Watches are good gifts. Vintage is okay because if you give someone a vintage piece, it might not be in their taste, but it would be something they could at least add to their collection as an interesting piece, and they could barter it or sell it or whatever. There's no trauma in that. You would be giving them something knowing that it would be going into their active collection, as it were. Um, Tap. Armin Strom is a good deal pre-owned. Yeah. They make great watches. They really make great watches. I wouldn't mind getting an Armin Strom myself, but even used, you're still talking 6, 8, maybe less. But I'd have to look. If you know any, well, even then, 5K. The big problem with Armin Strom for me is I have a lot of dress watches. I have more dress watches than I need, but somehow they gravitate towards me for some reason. I do like a sharp looking watch. But the Armin Strom, yeah, if I had the budget, I would pick up one because they really do make beautiful, beautiful pieces. An, Another one that I was really Lederer, Bernard Lederer. I interviewed him at Geneva Watch Days. The videos in the archive, and he is such a fanatic about escapements and the like, and a true horologist and watchmaker, master watchmaker. It is humbling sometimes to be around some of these people who are such creative artists in this space. But that's one of the reasons. The old joke: an audiophile is a failed musician, uh, frustrated musician, not a failed, a frustrated musician, because it's not necessarily your fault you don't play an instrument. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity to learn one young enough. You can learn one now, but yeah, life is hard. I tried to learn guitar several times, and you get to the point where you know three or four chords, and unless you really have a reason to chase it, you sometimes don't. Whereas horology is attractive because time is such an interesting aspect of our lives, and how it's presented, and the engineering behind it is also very interesting. Um, Nanad, I'm in search for a time grapher. Will buy it for myself. Yeah, yeah, type. Oh, we'll wrap it nicely and put it under the tree and act surprised when I open it. That's cute. Yeah, get yourself a time grapher. They're worth it. Oh, and I also recently got rid. Of, I shouldn't say got rid of. Moved along my, and I really wasn't looking. That was one I wanted to keep. Was my that old 70s, very brightly colored, and the name will pop into it. But I traded it for this. This is a Moog theremin. They called it a theramini because it's smaller than your average theremin layout. If you don't know what a theremin is, you should totally look it up. But I traded my Sorna. See, it came to me. I traded my Sorna for this Moog Theramini electronic music instrument. Now, this I wouldn't call this a last minute Christmas gift because you might have to take a few weeks to get it, but it would be a good Christmas gift. Another Christmas gift would be a pack of pins, spring pins for people's watches, because this is a bag of curved spring pins. And as you see, I'm already out of the most popular sizes, 22 or 20. I don't even, the ones in here aren't 20. Let's put it that way. Um, but a packet of spring pins is an inexpensive gift that you can give to every watch person, and they would appreciate it. If they're the kind of person that shops, get them a diamond tool, because what this does is this tells you if a crystal on a watch is really sapphire or not. It'll tell you the difference between mineral glass. I hope you could tell plastic without a tool, but it'll tell you the difference between mineral glass and sapphire crystals. So if you have someone who's into watches, they can use it when they go shopping. Speaking of things when you go shopping, you could get your friend a loop, a loop, a pocket loop, because it's got covers so you can stick it in your pocket, and then you open it up and you got a light, and you can look through it with two different strengths. And so you can go watch shopping. So you got your loop and you got your diamond device, and you are now equipped to detect 80% of the fakes. Um, or a standard loop. You take the standard loop, you put it in your eye. A lot of watchmakers have like a little spring that wraps around their head and holds it so they can move it back and forth. I also have, and I should have brought it over, I have clip on for the glasses that flip up and down. So loops are also things you can give watch people no matter what watch they own, because having a loop is cool. And if you see they have a loop, get the other kind. So if they have a eye loop, get them a pocket loop. If they have a pocket loop, get them an eye loop. If they have both, get them a big, cool, magnifying Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass. Let's see. Uh, get them a watch toolkit, a kit full of watch tools, like a little pry bar thingy to get backs off of your watch, or you know, um, the tool that gets the backs off of watches with the little pin slots in them. And if you're really, really, really into getting watch backs off, you can get yourself a kit that can take off the back of a Rolex. And this is about the cheapest you're going to get away with getting something that will take off the back of a Rolex without scratching it or damaging it. And it has heads for all of the different sizes, and there's just a big grip in this box. I'll even show you what's in it. It's just a big grip. So you take the big grip and you attach it to one of these, and then you put it on the back of the watch. You can open a Rolex. So um, if you have this and this and this, you'll be able to detect 98% of fakes, because you can open up the watch and look at it. And then you see if it's a free sprung balance or not, and whether they're trying to camouflage that it's not or whatever. But you can always get a watch person tools for Christmas, and they will never uh, not appreciate it. Um, my daughter gave me really high quality metal polishing cloths, right? And this is a great way to remove very small hair, you know, kind of scratches. These are really good polishing cloths. I mean, I was surprised. I'm wondering what chemicals are in them, and they do tell you don't use them with your bare hands. So, but this, polishing cloths. She bought me these years and years and years ago, and I still have several. They come sealed in packages inside the metal can, so you know that whatever's in here isn't probably very healthy for you, but it is good at removing scratches from watches, minor scratches. So, scratch cleaner. You can get someone a modern pocket watch. You know, this is a 300 buck pocket watch I got as a gift, and dual time zone, skeleton movement, a nice little pocket watch, right? Again, it's not like they're not going to be in stock when you walk in the store. Or you can get them a little robot kind of guy to hang the watch off of, right? Little robot guy. This is a cheap, uh, I shouldn't say cheap, an inexpensive one from China, but you can buy one of these from MB&F and drop four figures if you were so inclined. Uh, you can literally get them at any price point on the arc, as it were. See, have I forgotten? Oh, yes. The best gift to give to your friend who owns a Speedmaster with a Hesalite crystal is Polywatch. Polywatch, or anybody who has a plastic crystal. Polywatch doesn't cost a lot, and it cleans up your watch crystal. They owe me one now. I paid for this one. Oh, I also like, or Tap also says, I also like Chrono Swiss, but I hate onion crowns. Messes up my OCD. Nanad, I'm in search for a time grapher. Well, we mentioned that part. Tap, Citizen Series 8 is a good Christmas deal. 500 on Joma. Well, again, well, for a first watch, a good classic piece is always a nice gift because, they're not going to go, ooh, but if you give it to a collector, you might catch them at the wrong cycle of their collection phase when they might not be open to interesting pieces. That's why you got to feel somebody out when you buy them a physical watch. That's why pocket watches are safe. Vintage watches are safe. Oddball clocks are safe. If you earlier in the show, MiG 21 dash clock. Um, there are all kinds of stuff. Get them a pen. If they have a Mont Blanc, get them a Mont Blanc. Even if they don't have a Mont Blanc, a watch person always appreciates something else of quality, like a nice fountain pen or a bottle of whiskey. I did pour myself. That's just a screwdriver with absolute. But the thing is, there are a lot of things you can get a watch person. Get them a pin tool, right? You can get a pin tool online for about $10 and they will appreciate it, even if they have one, because the tip might be dull or bent or something. Or even if they have a good one, they'll still like a second because, having lots of tools uh, geeks people out, you know? So straps, boxes, containers, tools, kits, pins. You can give a lot of things to a watch person that don't involve heavy lifting. You can buy something for as cheap as $10 or as expensive as 10,000. And like a watch case that spins, you can buy them a safe if you have that level of cash. And if you bought your friend, I'm assuming spouse, at that kind of a cash outlay, and you bought them a spinner safe that cost $15,000, I'm guessing that they have a collection that warrants it, and your insurance probably would be happier because you could then document that you keep that stuff in a safe. And you can get a spinner safe, for as low as 1,000 or so bucks. So there are a lot of ways to give. Um, hey, Trap Vision. Hey, Tanya. Hey, how's it going? Context means everything. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I just noticed we're almost at the top of the hour, so I'm going to clear the messages and I'm going to call it a day. We ran a half an hour long last week, but I was tipsy. HRM, I've heard a story about a guy getting robbed of his watches on a commercial airliner. He was sleeping and someone stole it. Yeah, I heard about that as well. And that's why I keep my watches when I travel in my computer bag, which is a backpack that I always put under the seat. Um, and I'm thinking that if someone took it out of his carry-on while he was sleeping, it was probably it was an inside job. In other words, someone cased him, maybe they were chatting, waiting to get on the plane, and he talked about his watch collection, which, boom, I will never talk about my watch collection before getting on a plane. And that's probably what happened is the thief knew what was there because that's a very specific target because you're going to get busted looking into everybody's overhead, you know. Um, that thief knew that those watches were there. And that's why I carry my watch. Even when I'm on the road, I'll take some of my nicest pieces on the road, but I will carry them in my computer backpack. And then, well, if you see me in a bar, pretend you don't know me because I do carry sometimes I will have multiple watches in my backpack at a bar or something, but then that's usually at the bar at the hotel, you know, where I'm staying because I don't want to go too far with a backpack full of expensive watches, but they're physically with me when I'm traveling. And if I'm worried about where I am, then I only take one good watch and I never take it off. Like my go to travel watch is my IWC Sansupri because it's a dual time zone piece and I have a leather strap for this so I can wear it with a suit, right? So if you're really worried about, that kind of stuff, just take one watch when you're traveling. But in that case, like I said, that strikes me as an inside kind of job. He was incautious before he got on the plane, and it happens. Like poor Archie Luxury, Paul Pluta. He went to the States on a trip, and because he's a internet personality, people knew what he was doing, and so they broke in and they stole, six figures worth of watches. It happens. And that's why I had my insurance adjusted when I just moved, as many of you know. I had my insurance adjusted. I even increased my insurance because I just bought this. And oh no, this is the Breitling. I've had it forever. But I bought the sub to celebrate my millionth view. I bought the 41 millimeter ceramic sub. And so, yeah, hell yeah, I increased my insurance. Don't underinsure. You should insure to the value of your collection. And well, that's not, I don't know if insurance is a gift. You couldn't really get away with, but a safe, like I said, buy a safe. That was one of the things I suggested. The straps case, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like my straps case. I managed to fit all of my straps in the strap case, and there's still room for more straps. I mean, I thought I had a lot of straps. I do have a lot of straps, but there's still room. It holds all of my straps. I just dropped a strap. And there's still room for these pouches. I haven't put anything in these pouches. So it's a nice little, and there's the name of here you go. There's the name of the case, Betours, Betours. But yeah, a case just for the straps. And you should always think, like I said, about a case just for the watch. And I've become more fond of individual watch cases because I have multi-watch cases because these work better when you're packing because they fit in between stuff. And I had a whole big thing about it. I said earlier, but we're getting to the top of the hour. Let me get through these comments. Um, Nana, the best gift for a watch collector is a watch. There are great New Year deals available. Yeah, but again, you got to be careful. Make sure you get a watch they like, because the trouble with some people, they could be in a certain phase and they may not be open to the watch you're giving them. Ristful ignorance. Alex, hold that Longines up again. Here we go. Yes, sir. Like to please my audience. So that's the Longines Moon Phase. This is the Conquest. They do have the Master Collection, which has a slightly bigger face. The Master Collection actually has a bigger face. Um, but the nice thing about this one is you can tell the time on it because the hands are very bold, but it still has a moon phase. It's still the same. This is the cam driven, not the column wheel driven 7751. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece. And here, very nicely decorated. Oh, there we go. There we go. Very nicely decorated piece. Really beautiful piece. And I got this back from a friend I sold it to. I sold it and I kind of missed it. And then he bought my Air King. And he said, well, since you're selling me the Air King, can I give you the Air King and I mean the money and some money and this back? And I also got my PRX Chrono back, which I'm glad to have gotten back. And I'm very pleased with the deal because I missed it because I don't have I like moon phase, and that's the only moon phase I have. I didn't have it. I was going to buy a different moon phase, but 90% of the moon phases out there are dress watches. Christopher Ward makes a couple of nice sports moon phases, and a couple of other companies make some nice sports moon phases. But this is a sports moon phase, and so it's a daily wear moon phase, and I like that. A nice piece. So, Elusive Man, I love that Longines. I want the Master Collection version. Yeah, that is a nice watch. It really is a nice watch. And I wouldn't pass up on it if I could get my hands on one again. Um, the Conquest is more practical, but the Master Collection is more beautiful. I'll give you that easily. Gian, that would be something to look forward to, a collab with Urban Gentry. Yeah, yeah, no, TGV even used a piece of one of my videos in one of his videos. I was very, very honored. I came 10 minutes late. Did I talk about watch related books? Oh, that's a good point. I have a man in his watch and I love it. Um, I have a man in his watch too. I have a German book uh, on watches. You could probably Armbanduhren, which is the German word for watches. Um, and I think this is even in multiple languages. Yes, this book is in three languages, so you can get him this book. See, timekeepers and decorative objects. See, so it's in three languages. It's in French, English, and German. So get this book. Thank you for reminding me I have it and that it would be a great gift because it's in three languages. You could give it to any of your friends that speak any of the three languages and tools and the like. Um, Restful. I've gifted myself a Seiko UTD for Christmas, the ultra thin dress, 5.7 millimeters thick. That is thin. It is enamel dial, highly decorated movement in the display case back. That's a nice piece. That's a really nice piece. Um, Love the Mont Blanc. It is a great piece. Hi, Alex. What products would I recommend to clean bronze watches? I'm of the school that you shouldn't clean a bronze watch and just let it develop a natural patina. You know, wipe it off with soapy water once in a while for like dirt and you know snotting. But yeah, I would leave a I wouldn't I'm not a bronze watch guy, but if I had a bronze watch, I would just let nature take care of that. I need a diamond tester and digital calipers for my videos. You should. In fact, I'm upset. I have to buy a new one because I accidentally bent the tip on mine and it's not reliable anymore. But they only cost like 20 some odd bucks, so I'll just buy a new one. But I am pissed that I didn't put the rubber cap on every time. If you get a diamond tester, always put the tip protector on every time because if that tip gets bent, it will not work properly. I learned that the hard way. And calipers. And what I was saying about the calipers, right? Get ones with plastic or carbon fiber teeth or grippy parts. Where is this stupid? Here we go. Get one with carbon fiber stuff because then that way it won't scratch your watch, right? If these were metal, you'd have to wrap them with tape. And you've probably seen people with videos and they wrap them with tape. But if you get them with these are carbon fiber, they won't scratch your watch. So yeah, digital calipers. Um, Thanks for the ketchup tip. I have one of those and they work very nice. Poly watch is essential. Phoenix, secure your crown and let it sit overnight. I use toothpaste and flitz when the plastic crystal is very bad shape. and almost to Polywatch will bring it to a like new state. Polywatch really, really is good stuff. It really, really, no, no. Everything people say about Polywatch is true. It really, and it's not even expensive. It's $10 a tube or something. I mean, well, it's a lot of money in one sense. And I think I paid I bought mine and it came with a little wheel you could put in your Dremel with a little polishing, but I never used the polishing wheel. Uh, got it from a watchmaker. Hey, how's it going, Oscar? Um, Peter, hey, Peter. Again, late, missed this. Yeah, you didn't completely miss it. Got to say hi. I mean, I am getting to the end and we're already past the top of the hour and I'm going to have to close soon. But it's always nice to see you, my brother. Um, we need to do an episode together too, because TGV and I are going to do something. But I've always admired your work, and I would love to do something with you as well. And well, that's the beautiful thing about watch collecting is there are so many different viewpoints, and to share the viewpoints and to share, our experiences is cool. And advice on that's a great gift to give to anybody with a Speedy, with a Hesselite, or anybody with a plastic. Let's see. Trap vision. I take my watches with me when I film, but usually carry a tool that'll reach out and touch any would-be assailant. I should need to try the French Paris trap. I should. Maroc Spec Ops. Hey, get a strap case like Longines. Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the Longines is a beautiful piece. They really are. Hey, Skylar. Late to the party, but I want to say hi. I'm glad. Polly watches clutch. Exactly. So we're at the top of the hour. I'm going to call it an evening. Thank you again so much. I love you all. Have a fantastic week, and most especially have a fantastic evening. Take care, everybody.